Well, I'd like to welcome into the Shepherd Home Health and Hospice Studios, friend of the program, Pastor Alan Carson from the First United Methodist Church.
Good morning, friends. Good to be with you today.
I appreciate you coming in, and I'm so glad you missed my rant in the 6 o'clock hour. So, I thought it was funny what I was ranting about, and then I bring in a pastor, but a pastor that I like and respect a lot. So.
That's all right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you're right about that weather coming in this morning. It was sticky out there, and yesterday kind of felt like a blast furnace. It was windy and hot. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I stayed inside. I thought about mowing and weed eating, but I'm like, no way I'm going to do it in that heat and that wind. I'm like, it can wait.
Right on.
Another day, and we are getting a break. And it looks like maybe the rain.
Maybe get a little rain.
Yeah, so I hope so.
Yeah, no kidding. We always need that. We
do. Well, gosh, we haven't got to talk for a while. I usually see you at VBS. My son started out at VBS with you, and then unfortunately we had to go down to Cordell, and we missed the end of it. And it's always his favorite, VBS. Did you guys have a great turnout?
We had a great turnout, great week. So we did a little early this year. I think we'll probably end up coming back a little bit later in the summer next year. But we had a great time, and it's always fun. We did Snowball Mountain this year, which was thinking cold in the middle of the heat, so that's all right.
I like it. Well, Father's Day is
coming up this weekend.
Is coming up, which I have always said really is the most important holiday of the year. I mean, Christmas
not because
obviously
you're dad.
No, not at all. I just think we should celebrate fatherhood. But no, you and I. Both fathers, and I'm sure you're kind of like me, very humble, and don't give me gifts or anything like that. But talk about your perspective of Father's Day.
Yeah, it's Dad's Day coming up, and it has a history of coming together. A daughter early in the 1900s, after Mother's Day came up and became a holiday, was motivated. Her dad had been a widow. He was a Civil War veteran and raised 6 kids on his own, and she wanted to honor him in that kind of way. I think it was 1910 or something like that. She started that movement, but it didn't become a national holiday until 1972.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Year I was born. That's a good year. But and I realize on Father's Day, many people have been blessed and have had good dads, and like you said, it's good to be humble too, because we're all human beings, and also know that sometimes that people's individual journey can be complicated, and sometimes relationships with dads can be strained, and all kinds of things, especially in our day and age, and so I think about our birth dads. I think about foster dads and adopted dads, and I don't know if you had men in your life like a neighbor or a coach or a best friend's dad who played an important role, or maybe a Sunday school teacher. I know I've talked to a number of people over the years, scout leaders, just different people who've poured into us and helped us develop and know what it is to develop our own identity as a male and a person, and important for us, important for our daughters, so I just thought might pop in this week with you and visit and talk about that, and lift the idea of dads in this season, and to take time to honor those men in your life who have poured into you.
And why is it when we watch television, whether it's movies or sitcoms and stuff, the dads so many times are portrayed as doofuses, and they're the funny guy. It seems like some parts of society have downgraded the importance of fathers.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen. I guess we were kind of talking off air about the thing you were ranting about this morning. And that sometimes you find that people's character gets. And sometimes dads don't always do what they need to do. Right. I mean, and it does. It's like pastors who make a mess, and they can make it difficult for others who are coming behind them. Sometimes men have not always been who they were supposed to be, and so and that makes it difficult. And but nonetheless, important to take time to remember those guys in our life who have poured into us.
Well, I've already learned something today because you told me about this young woman that thought it was important to honor fathers. I just assumed Mother's and Father's Day were created by greeting card companies. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I think what I know too is that in 2026, schedules don't always align where you can do it, say, on Sunday or whatever. And I think buying all the greeting cards, isn't where it's at, but being able to say thank you. And I think that's where she was at. I think the originator of Mother's Day was the same way. I mean, in fact, she pushed against the Mother's Day, the greeting cards, a Hallmark and all that stuff. But it was just really a way to say thank you. For that, and her name was the lady who started kind of pushing for Father's Day was Sonora Smart Dodd of Spokane, Washington.
Thank you, Sonora. I wouldn't have ties and socks if it wasn't for you.
So I wondered if you ever what was one of your favorite Father's Day gifts, or one of the things you remember about being either honored or honoring your dad.
My favorite Father's Day gift I was actually given about 5 years ago from my son and my wife, and it was a hammock. And we were going to use it mainly for camping. And then things happened in life. We ended up not getting to use it for almost a year and a half. And now every time we go to Red Rock, and we just got back last week, we find a perfect place shaded in the canyon. And I use that hammock. And even though my son and wife both want to use it as much as I do, I remind them that is my Father's Day present. And it's one of my great presents. And I think as far as, my dad is concerned, the greatest Father's Day for me is going to be this weekend because I lost my mom a week after Mother's Day a year ago. Okay. My father still lives alone. He's going to be 90 years old next month. Okay. And has vision problems, but has been through all kinds of health issues, from a brain tumor to open heart surgery to stents. But he is the bionic man, and he has his mind. Now he just likes to watch Gunsmoke and NCIS. Don't bother him with politics or anything like that. That's his thing. But he had a heart attack a week before Christmas. And it scared me to death.
I bet
because, you've just lost your mom. You think, no, Dad. And he got a stent, and he's been doing great. In fact, he was just released this week from home health. They said, you don't need us.
Oh, wow.
There's no, you're doing great.
That's awesome.
So the greatest Father's Day is knowing that I still have my dad. And I know that so many of our friends out there listening don't, and my heart hurts for you.
Yeah.
But I'm so blessed to still have him, and we're going to be down in Cordell with him this Sunday.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think about the year that my wife and kids, you notice when I walked in, I always carry one of these.
Dr. Pepper.
My Dr.
Absolutely.
Pepper. That's right. And I remember the year that they got me every size of Dr. Pepper container. The small ones, the 12-pack, the 24-pack, a 6-pack, a 2-liter. It was all fun. And then in Reese's, and they just had me this huge stack in the living room. And anyway, it was a fun time. But and my daughter, who Molly used to work here.
Molly's awesome.
Yeah, she because schedules and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get together tonight for dinner. So that's what I was thinking about. A minute ago is that it's sometimes it doesn't happen on the actual day, but you do it at a time when you can say, thank you to that person and be able to do that. And grateful when you get to have your dad till he's 90 in his 90s. But life is short.
It is.
And so I think when you have the opportunity, snatch it and treasure those moments. So that's awesome. You're going to get to do that.
Pastor Alan Carson, our guest, pastor of First United Methodist Church in Weatherford, and we're talking about Father's Day. Now, I alluded to the fact that so many of our friends and neighbors out there don't have their fathers around anymore, and this weekend can be a really emotional time. How do we kind of handle that?
Well, and for me, I lost my dad when I was young. Not everybody knows this, but I had an experience of growing up in foster care, and so I really lost him when I was 8, but I didn't find out until I was in my early 20s. He'd passed when I was 11. He was much older, and so that's when I think about those other men who poured into my life over the years, who've helped me become who I am. And I'm 54, 54, and I still need a father figure, father role. And so I'm grateful for my journey within the church and the people who surround me and who still give me a little fatherly advice at times. And like most fathers, sometimes they give advice even when you haven't asked for it.
That is without a doubt. And then, of course, we have people out there that have fathers and mothers, but maybe they're estranged from their dad.
Absolutely.
For some reason. That can be a tough time too, but it's never too late to say I'm sorry, even if you feel they should be the ones that say I'm sorry.
That's right. That's exactly right. I absolutely agree with that. And sometimes you can do that, and maybe it's a small step in that relationship, and maybe it doesn't get reconciled, maybe it doesn't get fully healed, but sometimes we know we need to say what we need to say, and sometimes a letter, and sometimes writing a letter that sometimes you send, and sometimes a letter that you don't send, just so that you can express what you need to express. And that's good if they're still here, and maybe if that relationship was estranged and you lost them before you had a chance to heal that relationship. And that's true on the child side, looking towards the dad, but also if you're the dad and you're estranged in that way, you can still make that first move. It's never too late.
That's right. And it's also easier now, because it used to be dads would have to collect calls from their kids. Remember those days?
Yeah.
I'm getting a collect call. It must be my son or daughter. It must be Father's Day. But now everybody has unlimited long distance, right?
Yep, absolutely. And FaceTime and all kinds of other things. And Yeah, and and this Father's Day, the other thing I think about are service personnel who are deployed and away from home, and so I think about those families, and so take the opportunity when you got it to nurture those relationships, because, like I said, life is short. Life is short.
Pastor Alan Carson from the First United Methodist Church of Weatherford is our guest. Back with more on the Western Oklahoma Wake Up Show.
Running late? No worries. Don't skip breakfast or lunch or dinner. McDonald's has you covered with hot coffee, breakfast favorites, golden french fries, nuggets, Big Macs, and tasty chicken sandwiches all day long. Your Phillips Family McDonald's in Weatherford, Clinton, and Elk City is open and ready when you are. Drive up, grab a quick snack, or pick up dinner for the whole crew. Stop in today or cruise through the drive-thru at your local Phillips Family McDonald's, Weatherford, Clinton, and Elk City.
Free hot dogs! Get your free hot dog from 11 to 1 this Friday at the Heartland of America Heritage Museum. Bring the family. Enjoy a free hot dog at half-price admission to the museum. We kick off the Heartland of America Car Show this weekend. Free hot dog, half-price admission, and family fun. All this Friday at the Heartland Heritage Museum, 1600 South Frontage Road, Weatherford. Heartland Heritage Museum.
Visit the Heartland of America Museum today, located on South Frontage Road, just off the East Main Weatherford exit between Airport Road.
Wright Media has Western Oklahoma covered. On the radio with the Coyote Classic, The Zoo, The Score, and News Talk KCLI. Plus live streaming local sports like Clinton, Weatherford, Thomas, Sayre, Watauga, Hydro Weekly, and Southwestern Oklahoma State University. We also cover Western Oklahoma with the West Oak Weekly. We deliver sports, entertainment, and information on air, in print, or online. That's Wright.media.
Has your business hit a bump in the road? Hello, this is Teresa Kilhofer with Wright Broadcasting. Let me help you get your business back on the road and headed in the right direction. Together, we'll develop a plan to help you stand out from your competitors. Advertising isn't rocket science. It's actually pretty easy. The key is to be consistent. All we have to do is tell people who you are, what you do, and where to find you. And just keep telling them until one day they automatically think of you first. Like when you're buying toilet paper, do you have a certain kind that you love? Or when you're needing new shoes, do you have a favorite brand? I want to do that for you. I want people to automatically think of you first. There are many strategies we can do to help increase your visibility and attract new customers. But don't make it harder than it has to be. Call Wright Broadcasting. Ask for Teresa. Together, we'll make it easy.
Hey guys, I'm Kelly Ripito with Exploration Realty. I'm a wife and a mother of 2 children. We own a family farm. We are avid hunters, farmers, and ranchers. So I have the knowledge, the skills, and the resources to sell land in Oklahoma. I specialize in listings. I can do anything from land to residential or commercial. Kelly Ripito, 580-821-0934.
Welcome back to the Western Oklahoma Wake Up Show, brought to you by Priority Home Medical Equipment on Gary Boulevard in Clinton, 726. Todd Bruder in studio with Pastor Alan Carson from the First United Methodist Church of Weatherford. We're talking about Father's Day, and not everybody has a father in their life, but you talked about other people. Maybe it's a youth pastor, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's an uncle. I'm an uncle.
Yeah, right
I'm blessed to be an uncle too. You can really impact people's lives that way as well, right?
Absolutely. Like I said, neighbors. I remember one neighborhood that I lived in. Before I had kids, and I ended up playing baseball with all the kids in the neighborhood. I remember when I was growing up, my best friend Chad, in his neighborhood, there was a guy who lived on the corner, and they didn't have kids, but he'd come out there and play football with us, when we'd play. And so there's lots of people who pour into our lives that it's important to remember and acknowledge them in this season too.
Yeah, aren't we lucky to have people that have poured into our lives and looked out for us? It's funny. I was talking about going down to Cordell. When I grew up on Market Street, North Market Street in Cordell, it was all young families with kids, and I ran around and played with all the neighborhood kids. My mom and dad, it was the old story of come back when the street lights come on. We were out all day, and then as we grew up and moved away and our parents got older, it became like an older person's neighborhood. Well, now all of a sudden my dad's neighborhood is all full of young families again. In fact, my son loves going down there. He's met a really good friend that lives across the street from my grandfather that's like a year younger than him, and we've met their friends. And so my dad's neighborhood is full of kids. And when my son's down there on the weekend, all of a sudden 4 or 5 kids will just run in to the house. And he's like, hey, this is just like the old days.
Yeah, right on. That's awesome.
It's kind of cool. So you get to spend some time with Molly.
Oh yeah,
tonight.
Yeah, and I'm going to see the boys on another day.
Awesome.
So it's just kind of the way it works.
Now, where are the boys?
So they both live in Edmond.
Okay,
so all the
cool.
kids are in the Oklahoma City area.
Wow.
So, yeah, when we were a little bit closer to the city, they'd be able to come over when we lived in El Reno, and we'd come over. And I, particularly Dad's Day was the big day. My birthday's in June, and so a couple weekends ago, and so. So we get together and grill out. That's it's kind of a dad thing to grill, and so those are important. And my oldest son's going to come over in a couple weekends. So
cool.
Again, it's 2026 and schedules don't always align, and sometimes you got jobs that make you work on the weekends or keep you out of town, and so you be flexible with that.
Absolutely. Doesn't have to be celebrated on Father's Day. Yeah. And the same thing we say about Mother's Day. You should really celebrate your moms and dads all year long because, and I'm telling you, and I told you off air, I'm so glad that I made the decision to move back here 30 years ago, getting to spend so much time with my family, and even more so, over the last couple of years as my mom had some health issues, with them a lot more, and now hanging out with my dad every weekend. And I'm so grateful to be here. If I was in California when all this happened, just trying to fly back, it would have been horrifying.
Right
and
on.
So, and sometimes we think that we just have to get away from our hometowns, away from our families as soon as we can when we're young. You know it all.
Yeah, that's right.
But something always brings us back, usually.
Yeah. I wonder if you had thinking about that. Sometimes when we're growing up and we got to kind of push off in our early adulthood years, and find ourselves and all that kind of stuff, and sometimes as we're in that transition, we think about our parents and we think, man, they don't have it, they just don't know. And then we reach that point in the journey where we're going, scratching our head going, wait, maybe mom, maybe dad was a little smarter than I thought they were. Did you ever hit that spot?
Oh,
Todd?
Absolutely.
Maybe sometimes
many
still.
times. And I find myself now saying the things to my son when he acts up that my dad. Now, I haven't threatened him to ground him for the rest of his life yet. I'm sure that'll coming, but I'm probably about 35 times I was grounded for the rest of my life by my dad. But my dad was strict, but very loving as well. Now, he was hardcore. He's not going to be the first to just wrap you up in a hug. Grandkids, it's different,
Yeah.
But
part of it
over
is
the
that
years,
generation too,
yeah.
I think,
But over the years, he has mellowed too, and shows his emotion more, which I'm thankful for. But yeah, celebrate your parents while they're here, and if they're not here, yes, it can be sad, but hold on to the great memories, right?
Yeah, and that's part of the healing process too. When someone passes, is to really hold on to those things that we remember, and it's one of the ways that person lives on beyond this life, in those good memories. So that's a gift when I'm just thinking about passing death and walking that journey with individuals and families when they've lost a loved one like that. And it's one of the things I often stress is how important it is to remember those gifts that they gave you, the love that they shared with you helps them to live on and be present with you.
Well, Father's Day coming up Sunday, and we also have the number one father that is always there for us, no matter what, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. One of the other things I was reading about Dad today is that in other places in the world beyond the United States, and like within the Catholic tradition that stretches around the world, they often celebrate Joseph as the father of Jesus. Wasn't a birth father, but he stepped in and raised him as his son, and how important.
What a
that
great
is.
story!
Yeah, great story, great image, and especially as we think about not only our birth dads, but the men who poured into us. And for me, I shared with you that I grew up in foster care, and I was from the time I was 10 until I was 18. I lived with my oldest brother, who was 17 years older than me, and and so it's been a journey. I remember a few years back when I went to see him on Father's Day to say, hey, I want to express my appreciation to you for stepping in that way.
That's so neat that he was. I did not know that story, Alan. That is amazing. So blessed to have a brother like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, not perfect, but hey, man, we made it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Father's Day coming up this Sunday, so we want to let everybody know whether you attend First United Methodist Church in Weatherford or not. If you are a father, Alan is giving out $100 bills to all fathers. Oh, is that not right? Did I read that wrong?
You're a mess, man. You need Jesus, Todd.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's what I say to John Matthews often. So
well, yeah,
I love him.
John needs a lot more. No, Pastor Carson, hey, thanks so much for coming in, and happy Father's Day to you as well.
Happy Father's Day to you too, Todd.
All right, stick around. We've got that other John Matthews guy coming up next.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
A message from your local heat and air experts. Now's the time to get your unit's seasonal checks. Catch the small problems before they become big, expensive ones. Call Southwest Air and Heat, your local Lennox dealer in Weatherford. Southwest Air and Heat and Lennox are the trusted and experienced names for air conditioning in western Oklahoma. No matter the make or model, Southwest Air and Heat can service it. Call 772-8000. That's 772-8000. Perfect air, unmatched care. That's Southwest Air and Heat, your local Lennox dealer in Weatherford.
All right, 7:35, the Western Oklahoma Wake Up Show. John Matthews joining us now. And, John, in case you didn't hear, Pastor Alan Carson with us says you really need some Jesus.
Yeah, no,
this Father's Day.
He's right about that. He's right about that. Speaking of terrible fathers out there, you heard about this one, right?
Here is a man with his 2 little girls using the women's bathroom.
There was a man in Quick Trip with his 2 daughters in the women's restroom.
Oh, no.
And they were washing their hands in there after using the restroom. That was empty, of course.
Yeah.
And the other grumpy old man calls 911, and man, it became a thing.
Oh, boy.
Can you believe a girl dad brought his daughters into the women's restroom who were 3, I'm making up ages, 5 years old, maybe 4 years old?
Oh, my goodness.
And
Yeah.
that is drama a little bit. And I don't know, as a girl dad, I've got 3 daughters.
Right.
It was always a thing. It was trying to figure out, do you bring them in? I have brought them into the men's restroom with me before and then did the whole stall thing. And then same thing, the dad, being from Oklahoma, he was bringing his daughters into the women's restroom, which he said he confirmed was empty before he took them in there.
Yeah.
Anyways, and the
thank
police,
God for family bathrooms.
That's what Quick Trip
yeah.
says they're going to go ahead and try to do, the family bathrooms, because it's definitely, have it figured out. But at the same time, like, the police showed up and said this is not a police matter. Like,
Good for them.
Stop, go away.
Right on.
We'll see how Quick Trip responds. But I don't know. Y'all are pro probably Austin bathrooms, aren't you? That just everybody shares one big bathroom.
What?
And then they have just
unit?
big...
No. First,
Like they do in Europe?
First
Yes.
of all, I'm pee shy anyway.
Yeah, right on.
So I hate public bathrooms anyway.
I'm learning new phrases
No,
today.
yeah, no. I hate public, but the last thing I want to do is go do my business and a woman could be in the next stall. No, thank you. I wish every bathroom was a separate locking room.
Yes.
Because there's always that guy that wants to have a conversation with you.
How's it going
at
over
the
there?
other area? Yeah, how are things?
Shake it more than twice.
Yeah,